too skinny, certainly not good for orphan horses. Yes, ma'am.
My science teacher, she's a little bit overweight. Her arms, it's huge right here and skinny.
Okay, well, I'm talking about horses now, so I can't go there with science. Although I like science, and some people say, but that's another story altogether. We don't have to go there. Anyhow, you want to keep your horse in good shape. How do you know how much to feed your horse? How do you know if your horse is fat or not? And a quarter horse doesn't look like a thoroughbred, which doesn't look like a walking horse, which doesn't look like a Pasifino. I've got a client that has Pasifino horses, and they are a strange combination. They are small, fast, walking horses. But, so they're all different kinds. A pony is not the same as a Clydesdale. So how do you know if your horse is weighing the appropriate amount, is the right size? Rule of thumb that I've used for years and years, and rarely does me wrong, is you want to be able to feel the ribs but not see them. So put your hand in there, you kind of feel this molding right here. You can feel that. It's not highly obvious. It's not like running your hand across a xylophone where your hand falls in between each rung. On the other hand, when you put your hand on that horse's side, and there's ribs back there someplace, but you couldn't identify a single rib because you're looking through this bowl full of jelly on their side, then the horse is too fat. And too fat horses have a lot more problems than horses that are in good shape. So, you've got to keep the horse eating well, eating the right amount. Yes, ma'am.
This girl on my bus, she adopted a horse because this person had owned the horse. It was belly, it was that thick, thin. And when the horse, people loved it, didn't take good care of it.
Right, and these are tough times. If y'all get involved in horses, you're going to see some tough things here in the next several months, I would imagine, of people that you can't afford to have a horse, or can't afford to feed the horse. And horses can't live on pine straw and water. So they will lose weight. If you and I don't get enough to eat, we're going to lose weight, get skinny. These horses are going to do the same. It's up to us as horse owners and veterinarians to be able to feed the horse appropriately. So older horses can have different issues. Their teeth are different. Their metabolic needs are different. They have equine senior feed. Some horses that are really just easy to keep, the classic easy keeper. And I don't have to feed this horse anything. It just stays mud fat. Well, that horse, one, needs a job, needs to have more exercise, and doesn't need to eat as much. And then you've got some of these horses that are, I have to just pour the feed to them, and I can't keep weight on them. These are the horses that, need to have their teeth checked, be sure they're in good shape, do a fecal exam, be sure they don't have parasites, and then just make sure that they get enough energy, enough protein, enough roughage in their diet. So it's complicated, but you got to feed your horse according to its individual needs. Yes, ma'am.
Like Walker's horse sake, I know they have a stifle lock problem. Would a horse being overweight increase the stifle lock problem?
Absolutely. And so, overweight's going to cause more arthritis problems. Locking up the stifle can have problems with that, and they find that the horses are in better shape. The tendons and all the ligaments hold things in place better, and they tend to do better. So, and walking horses are maybe even a slight exception to that rule of feel ribs, not see ribs, because they tend to put a little more weight on high on their back, and they may be a little bit still be able to feel their ribs. So you kind of have to use your eye on that, but you just don't want to do. Yep.
If the horse is, as you said, mud fat, could it have diabetes?
Now, we can come back and discuss that in length, because what we're talking about now, can a horse have diabetes? And the answer is yes. Glad it's on this. Distracting. So yes, what is diabetes though? Understand, diabetes is when you have circulating glucose. Glucose is the, I got that, I need to wrap it up. Diabetes is when you have circulating glucose, which is the energy that drives the cells. We're all made up of individual cells, and they come together, and they have to have energy to do do their job, whether it's breathe or digest or grow skin or whatever, glucose has got to be part of that. Insulin is what helps glucose get into the cell. If you don't have glucose, if you don't have insulin, the glucose can't get in the cell, okay? So you got to have insulin. What happens with some horses, they become either insulin resistant or they can become almost like a diabetic, where either they don't have enough insulin or the insulin's become ineffective. And therefore you get all this glucose circulating, can't get into the cells, the body doesn't know what to do with it, so it stores it as fat. And then you have to get the fat back out of the cells and into the body for energy, and very inefficient. So an overweight, big fat horse could be diabetic-like. Could actually be diabetic, but more likely is more insulin resistant, which is a diabetes-like situation. They also can have a Cushing situation where there's a hormone that produces too much cortisone in the body, and that's a bad thing. And then some horses just need a job. Why do we have problems with obese horses? Because horses were evolved from the plains and steppes of Mongolia. You ever seen a picture of the steppes of Mongolia? It looks like a parking lot out there. It's tough to grass here and it's tough to grass there, and they have to walk all these long distances just to get a bite to eat. This is where horses evolved from. All right. Well, then we take them and we put them out on pastures, which are these nice big fat pastures. Well, that's great. They can eat grass, but 100 years ago, horses didn't have as much problem with laminitis as we do now because, and I don't know whether insulin resistance was a big problem back then, because horses had a job. People didn't have horses just to sit in the pasture. They had horses because they had to pull the milk wagon, pull the coal cars out of the mines, had to deliver the mail, had to pull the stagecoach. Horses were beasts of burden. They had a job to do. When they're doing a job, they can't sit there and eat. Now, a lot of horses, the only thing they have to do is sit there and eat. And when you let them eat all day long, that's what they do. And so they eat that grass. They get sugars out of the grass, which you and I can't do, and they can get big and fat. So, not every horse, but these are some of the intricacies and some of the things y'all have fun learning about this year at the 4-H Horse Club. So, that's kind of just a thumbnail sketch. We talked about a lot of different things, and we can come back. I'll be glad to come back and we'll on a specific topic. Parasites, we want to delve into parasites more, we want to delve into laminitis more, whatever. I'll be glad to come back. But do y'all have any questions at this time?